Hello and welcome to this November workshop for the Magic Divorce Club. And today I'm joined by Ashley Johnson, who I don't know when to tell this story. I might save it for the end, but the first time I met you, you weren't actually there. So I'll save it for later. A little hook. So Ashley is a beloved and an award-winning sexuality educator. She helps people have better relationships, more confident and calm conversations. Can't wait to hear about this. She's a coach. She's train the trainer, which you might have to explain what that is. She's an advocate for children and youth. And over the last 20 years, she's had experience which has and worked and reached and positively impacted tens of thousands of individuals for the better, and all by word of mouth. That's amazing. So, welcome. And I massively appreciate this because I am constantly struggling with this particular topic, which is co parenting through divorce.
Yes,
It's
yes.
an interesting one, which obviously, if you have children, there'll be times when things are really smooth and you're like, this is a piece of cake. And other times you just can't predict and it's not. And you get triggered all the way back to the start again.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Thank you so much for having me, Hannah. I am so super excited to just share a couple tips and things I know, things that have worked for me,
Yeah.
um, which I think is probably the most important thing, like what's gone well, and the
Mm-hmm.
things that haven't too. Like I'm real, like not everything has gone in ways that have been enjoyable by any means. But for the most part, my experience has been really positive. And so that's the stuff I'm wanting to like share out and
Yeah.
resource with.
Yeah. Like it is important to be real about mistakes, I think, because often that's where the biggest learning is, of course, because you're like, I will never do that again. But sometimes we don't have a choice and we've got to not beat ourselves up for it, but just take the lesson and move on. So,
Exactly.
how did you come to this information? I believe there is a story.
There is a story in here. So, two things. So, one is I was going through a divorce myself in the state of Colorado. And one of the legal requirements for divorcing parents is to take a parenting after divorce class.
Amazing.
Right. So I say have to, you're required to. You're required to sit with a bunch of other people and you're looking around going, oh, you're going through, oh God, you're going through divorce. Oh God, you're going through divorce. So you don't feel alone for one, right? You're
Yeah.
like, all of us are going through this at the same time. You don't know them. You're not chatting with them, but there's someone presenting, like saying, here's some things you need to know. Here's how to be better co-parents. And I'm like, it actually did it twice. Because my husband at the time and I were separating once in 2016, reconciled, and then divorced in 2024. So I actually went through the process twice.
Oh.
I know. And as I was going through it, like I said, I'm like, there's just stuff that's in here that's really good. I had my boyfriend now was going through divorce right around the time I was going through it for the second time or separating for the second time. And he's in Australia. They had nothing. They had absolutely nothing. He's like fumbling and navigating. And like I'm learning I call it Australian rules divorce versus US rules divorce versus UK rules divorce. They're all different.
Yeah.
Watching it, I'm like, you have no resources. You
Mm-hmm.
don't, you don't have a parenting after divorce class. You have a freaking lawyer.
Yeah.
You have these like they have some insane laws in Australia around divorce. We can get to that at the end if we want to. But that was bringing those two things together where I'm like, we're doing something actually pretty cool here in Colorado. I'm seeing someone go through this without these resources. And I'm like, we need to talk about this. We need to
Yeah.
get this information out. So that's how I came to it.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Like we have, I think if you end up in court, you're sent some links.
Mm-hmm.
Like read this if you want, but you're like, I don't really want to.
No,
I don't want to.
no, no. And when it was forced on me, quote unquote, like, of course, I'm open to the content, but I'm stressed. Right? I'm going through divorce. There's the legal piece of it. And so there was a piece of it where like having to do it like got me over the hurdle. But
Yeah.
once I was in there, I'm like, this is really good. This is important enough. Like, we need to start talking about this, get this out there because it can make things so much easier on the front end. And then to your point about when you're like, well, yeah, there's just lessons we're going to learn the hard way or lessons that we're going to learn. We just have to take them. It almost makes that process easier because we have more self-confidence and we're grounded, right? So,
Okay, beautiful. That's a
yes.
great place to start. We do not have that. Um, it's not
Yeah.
enforced in this country,
Yeah.
which, yeah, I think it would be really helpful if it was.
Yeah.
So, what's your personal experience with divorce? You nearly
Yeah.
split up in 2016 and then you kept going for ages after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we, let's see. So in 2016, we had younger kids, and there was a story
Mm.
in here which we can unpack. They were, oh God, I think they were 8 and 5. Yeah, they were 8 and 5 at the time in 2016. And I was going through some stuff and needed a lot of space. And there were things in the marriage that were not like healthy, right? Like he definitely had his own stuff. But at that moment, I'm like, I'm unregulated. I didn't have these words, but I'm unregulated. I can't be in my body. Things are coming up for me that have nothing to do with this marriage, but they're affecting this marriage. And so we separated 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I stayed in the house. We got an apartment and just, got another apartment after that. And then um I wouldn't say reconciling happened as much as healing. Like
Mm.
I was able to heal, I was able to regulate, that shifted the relationship. um Things had to be brought to the table, right? And that's one of the things I'll talk about is like you're kind of forced to like we have to talk about these things. Like we're not going to be living together anymore and we have kids. So things were forced to the table to talk about, and we were able to do it just with more ease. And we just kept spending more time together. The family was together. And then it just got to a point, it was almost practical. Like we got to be good friends at that point. And then it's like, this is just kind of silly to have two houses. So we came back together. But I would say it was more like a really close friendship for a
Okay.
number of years. And then towards the end in 2003, it was just like, this, this, this isn't working. Like there was like, we just had different ideas about finances. And like I said, in hindsight, it was more like, this is more friendly than anything else. And we can part amicably. There was still, there was still some strife. Don't get me wrong. There was definitely some strife. But yeah, that's the story. That's the story of how I personally got here. And now my kids are in their teen years. And so I know divorce and co-parenting from like having a 5-year-old to a almost 18-year-old. So I've
Yeah.
seen it through all the years.
Yeah, because I know quite a few people that are in the Magic Divorce Club are, I think the parents who are more concerned are the ones with the older kids.
Mm,
Like I think when you've got younger kids, it's this like, it's just a lot for you personally to hold because they're just like, big energy. But when you're getting the older kids that are starting to understand what's going on, it's like,
yeah.
hey, how are we going to
How do you
support them?
how do you talk to them? What's
Yeah.
appropriate? Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes
I
sense.
suppose I think we'll probably cover that later on in, I think, in what we're talking about. But before we go in, I
Yes.
thought we'd spend maybe like 5 minutes just grounding our energy. And what I do, Ashley, is I've got this thing called the Magic Clubhouse, and it's like a safe space you can come and just be in. So I'll take us through a little meditation where people can come in there just if, because it is quite triggering talking about some of this stuff. So just to know that we're held, we're safe, we're behind a paywall, which is an added element on purpose because this stuff is so personal. So that you know you come to this information because you've chosen to, and we're holding you when you're in it. Okay. So if you just take a moment to feel settled, feel your feet, your all the places you're in contact with the ground. And if it feels comfortable to close your eyes, just go on inside. Just taking a few slow, deep breaths to signify to your body that we're slowing down. Feeling the gentle support of the ground beneath you. Big inhale into the heart space, expanding the ribs. And as you exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. Do this one more time, inhaling into heart, expanding the ribs. Exhale and slowly rolling shoulders back and down. Just letting the body know that you don't have to hold all of this on your own. Letting the arms and the legs feel heavy. And if it feels comfortable, I invite you to come into the Magic Divorce Clubhouse. This is a huge protective space. As you walk in over the threshold, you can feel all the parts of you that are being pulled in different directions. Maybe you have different bits that just don't really belong to you in your body right now. Your attention's being pulled. As you step over the threshold, all of these bits that shouldn't be in your body fizzle away. And as you step inside, you can feel the space that's being created. You notice the golden blue sparkly energy, like little bits of dust floating all around you. And it's like you're walking into the warmest hug. Like the whole building is so happy to see you. It's rooting for you and it knows that you're doing enough. And you see a space that has your name on it. You go over there. It's filled with all of your favorite things. You wrap yourself up in a blanket that feels like pure compassion, love and kindness wrapped around you. Just settle in this space for a few more breaths, allowing that energy of loving kindness to come in through your body with every breath. It's safe for you to slow down. It's safe for you to have support. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Bringing hands to heart, taking a deep breath into the heart space. And we go into this class with the intention of hearing all the things we need to hear, to opening our minds to a different possibility, an easier option. And then gently feeling back into fingers and toes, moving into any position that feels comfortable as we gently keep that space in our hearts, but come back to our lovely Ashley.
Beautiful, Hannah. I was listening to one of your podcasts just to, to get a feel of the things you talk about. And at the end of one of them, you're like, when I ask people what I do for them, and I think you got a little teary, you're like, they say I create a safe space. You're like me, I create a safe space, and you too. You just create such a beautiful, beautiful space in that Magic Divorce Clubhouse. I love the way you hold it and articulate it. It's a place people can come in and settle.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Of course.
Okay, so shall we go into co-parenting, feeling grounded and safe as we explore how we're going to do this? So, to kind of give us an idea of the framework that you use, what are like the main themes of understanding co-parenting?
Yeah. So, three things that are super important to think about, especially as we're navigating the beginning of co-parenting, right? There's so much that's led up to divorce, separating, divorcing. So, in that beginning time, communication. So, when you're co-parenting, communication. And as we'll see as I start to talk, my framework is less about the other person and more about us. Mm-hmm. So that's number one, is communication. The second is boundaries. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit of a different way. I think people, you can never hear it enough, but people are quite familiar. Like, yes, I should be boundaried. Yes, I should, state this is what I need, or this isn't acceptable. But again, I come at it maybe from just a little bit of a different lens. Like it's about us. It's not about like pushing that person away or saying like F off. It's about us. So I'll talk about boundaries. And then the third thing, it's so specific. I can make it into a bigger thing. But the third thing is what happens at the co-parent's house. So when you're divorced and now your kids are in your ex-partner's house, right? They're in a different house, different rules. What are we going to do there? How are we going to stay regulated? How are we going to stay joyful and happy, or whatever it is you want, right? Like, how do we stay in the wholeness of ourselves when that small act of our children leaving the doors and walking into someone else's, like it has an opportunity to dysregulate a lot. So that we'll have a conversation about that. So those are the big three things. So communication, boundaries, and then that specific piece about what happens when your kids leave your home and they're with your ex-spouse for however long.
Okay, so should we start with communication?